Yo, what's up, Goontaville family? Right, most likely you're watching the first official video um, posted on either my Dijon War page or my Goontaville Productions page. But basically, the concept of this video is basically saying how I made my most recent rhythm, the Passport Girl rhythm, right? Um, basically don't really look into the terms I use much. I'm still trying to get used and comfortable on camera, right? So I'm not as perfect as yet, not as confident as most likely. I should get there eventually, so no need for no self explanation, right? So just enjoy the video, and it's not really a how-to, but just how I made and how I came together in terms of making this instrumental, right? So on the flip side, yeah, to be very honest, I prefer to really produce like shorter rhythms, because I'm a person that like to produce like simple stuff, like sometimes I do get a little complex in terms of the melody, sometimes in the instrument as well, but sometimes I don't like to oversaturate my beats. Could be a con, but that's mostly like a pro for me, because it's like, I get to structure and remove and replace certain parts of the instrumental. So everybody has their own method in terms of building their beats, so I just do what works best for me as well, right? And I really get into the hobby of sampling a lot, because there's a lot of talented other producers out there that has some good samples out there, like really good samples. So that also gives a little boost, especially when you have the block in production, that mental block, and you don't know no inspiration, but sometimes you just find the right sample as well, right? So just sometimes it's just good sampling and right instruments and everything compared together, and sometimes you don't have to make that rhythm so drawn out. I mean, 3-minute songs is still the standard, but sometimes I make the shorter 2-minute rhythms, because people's attention span is certainly getting shorter, right? So if you don't like get into the meat and bone of the rhythm, then most likely you're not gonna get that high engagement that is needed, right? So, and that's just out of my personal experience, so I'm just yapping on that basically, right? So everything is already layered out, structured out, and that's going to be dropping on the 28th of April. Right now is the 27th of April as I'm recording this, so you may hear the rhythm most likely by the time I drop this, but basically I'm just breaking down the structure. So this sample, what I have here in this rhythm, is also got that off of Instagram, and Instagram producers, big up y'all are making some wonderful samples. Usually I either use Looperman or Splice, but sometimes when I hear a sample I already used, sometimes it's kind of turns me off a little bit, especially if they chop it up a little similar to how I already made it. So sometimes I'll find one or two gems during like scrolling through Instagram. I'll be like, yeah, I might sample this. So right, so I'm gonna solo the instrumental, right? So this is what I got from Instagram. It's just, the vibe is, first thing I got was like, boom, 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 boom. That type of tempo. When I heard that, let me just go boom, 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 So that's like the first type of tempo in terms of the kick I already got for this this sample. So what I also did a lower pitch of this sample. So this one is going to be a bit lower. So this one is going to be carrying most the bass and the lower harmonics in the sample, right? And then I simply just pair them together. Right, so right, lovely, right? Let me just play that one more time. Just goes beautiful together. So yeah, basically simply I just cloned it and then I just EQ it two different ways, and then I just sidechain the reverb, basic EQing, and then it should be working enough. With this, the reverb usually creates most of the body and the saturation in the rhythm. So basically, it really fills in the atmosphere for me already. All right, everybody have a different process with the melodies, but usually with the sampling, that's usually route I go. And then double laying the higher mid tones and the lower bassy tones there, kind of pieces everything together and make everything sound full like this. Right. Basically, in terms of the 808, it's best that you have on headphones so you can really pick up the bass properly. If you don't, then if you have good enough speakers, then most likely you should be able to pick up what I'm talking about here. So I have two different patterns in terms of the 808, so I'm just going to play that here for you. I said that was like the tempo I had earlier when I was just listening to the melody. So if I just pair that with the melody right now, and then just add a kick with it just for a little boost. Usually I just do some basic EQing, and then I just add Maximus to really boost the kick and the 808. Right, so it's like let's play around with the low, mid, and highs on Maximus. Usually professionals would be using some other than Maximus, but Maximus works just fine for just beginners, and you know, even some professionals even use Maximus to this day, right? So you know, you could just work with what you have. I mean, I have better plugins than that, but I just like to work with easier things, right? Things that are easier to control as well, right? So let me just play around with those instruments, right? So basically, I'm playing the chorus here, so I'm just going to release all the other instruments. I'm going to mute the melody, mute the kick, and the 808. Right. So I paired a percussion and a clap just to. It's a bit thin. That I would agree, but usually depending on the tone and the frequency of the rhythm, sometimes you could just cut through the rhythm, and sometimes it will be, especially like when you're listening to a mono speaker, you're just gonna cut through and just gonna hear that clap nice and clear through there. So it's a bit thin in terms of a stereo speaker, but at the end of the day, it really does the trick, especially for this rhythm. You're not gonna go wrong, because basically with these kind of bouncy type of dancehall, usually I will have a simple clap and maybe a percussion, a thin percussion to really to keep it mellow, you dig? Right? So but I do also have a counter snare there to support it. Right. Right, and then I'm gonna add a kick. You already got the tempo there already, right? Yeah. 808. Basically just piece everything together, and then you get, you know, you get this rhythm here, you think? So look at this. I'm gonna play everything together now, and you'll see. Basically, that's how I really piece together the entirety of the Passport Gyal rhythm. So, you know, just pair that with 1-2 transitional effects, and then you know, just of course I'm gonna have to punch in my tag in there, and then boom, you're gonna have the Passport Gyal rhythm. So it should be released by the time I have this posted. So do enjoy, and link me when you need release for that rhythm.
Goontaville, and now you go.
Hey yo, DoniiDeeBeatz.